welcome to Don's Manufactory. I have news. The springs came. So let's take a quick look at those. You can see how different the arc is. The new spring is a lot flatter down here towards the rear. See how the difference there? It's really a lot flatter. But up here where the pin is, it's only about a ½ inch difference. But it definitely does not have as much arc as the old one. Although this front portion has more arc on it than the front portion of that, and it has less arc in the back than that one does. So that will change the angle of the universal joint, the U-joints on the driveline, for sure. But I don't know. They want me to stick them in, so that's what I'm going to do. I don't hold up much hope for those springs actually working. They're supposed to be an inch higher than the originals, but they insist that I go ahead and install them and to double check. So I made some new bolts for the rear springs. These are just a shade longer than the OEM ones, and I ground a taper on it so that it can line stuff up as it goes through, just like the OEM ones. The OEM, there's nothing really wrong with them except one of them, the one on the right side, shows wear. And I don't want any wear between the center sleeve on the eyelet and the bolt. Anyway, so I'll be replacing these. So other than that, it's just going to go back in stock, and you don't really need to see that. I'll show you around after I've got them up there. You know, the car's totally not rusty, so all this stuff just works bing, 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 really fast and easy. Okay. Let's get to it. Hi, welcome to Don's Manufactory. Well, some parts have started trickling in after Christmas here. I got the bushings for the shackles. The new bushings that go in the spring. The springs have arrived, so I can put those in. And I got some, well, they're supposed to be longer U-bolts for the rear end, but I don't know, they don't look any longer than the original ones. I'll check it to see, but because I'm putting I have to put an angle shim, you know, one of these things here, put an angle shim for the changing the differential pinion angle. I'm going to need longer U-bolts in order to get those to tighten up. Normally I wouldn't have to do that, but I have traction bars on it too, and between the two there's just not enough U-bolt there. I ended up working on the springs. I had to change over the center bolt. These tapered shims raise the axle up from the spring, and so then the centering bolt isn't long enough. And so I had to change that, and I went ahead and put a couple extra straps on the springs too. So the spring is actually held more securely in terms of longitudinal loads. It'll help with the spring wind-up too. Not that traction bars will ever let it wind up anyway. Don't know if you've ever noticed, but on the passenger side, the shackle looks like this, with the nuts on the same side. The driver's side, it's alternated, and that's because it's a lot tighter between the tank and the frame rail on the driver's side than on this side, passenger side. So anyway, just a little point of order. So the car's sitting with the 67 1-inch drop, 600 pound per inch springs from Scott Drake. I've got a Shelby drop on this, and so it ended up being stock ride height. It's about it's maybe 1/4 of an inch lower than stock ride height. So there's just over 3 inches of travel between the top of the ball joint and the bump stop. I'm going to drive it a bit. I don't want to cut any springs or do anything until I've allowed the springs to settle first. And I have to put a full tank of gas in it so that the rear, I can test the rear for its actual ride height. Unsettled, you can see the front is really tall there. It's at 26 1/4 actually. The back is at 25 1/2 with the new springs. But that's with only a 1/4 tank of gas. And I want it sitting just about there with a full tank of gas. So I'll have to fill it up and we'll see where it ends up. And here you can see how much those 1/2 inch longer U-bolts stick through the slat bars or traction bars, whatever you want to call them. You can see that I got plenty of thread there. As you can see, the ride height pretty good with the full tank of gas. Little bit low. Air shocks require 30 pounds minimum, and that should bring it right back up. Well, that didn't take too long. I hope you all had a really good Christmas. New Year's is coming up. And back to work on Betsy. I got a few things I want to do to it here. Just some little stuff. I still haven't looked at the carburetor and whatnot. But couple of things I want to do now that I got them longer shackle, or not shackles, but U-bolts in there. You know, it's safe to drive. Got new shackle bushings put in the back. And you know what? I'm looking at these old shackle bushings, and these are the OEM ones, as in been in the car for 59 years. Okay, we'll say 58 years. And, you know, it's a little checked on the edge. But the rest of it looks really good, considering how old they are. 58 years, 300,000 miles, and acceptable. So there's still a lot of things about this car amazes me. That's about it for this particular video. I don't know. With the holidays and being sick and everything, I just haven't got a whole lot done. You know, haven't been putting out videos. I mean, I skipped a couple of weeks there. But, you know, that's what happens. Life gets in the way. So, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.